back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, thanks for tuning in, and if you're a regular, thank you for supporting my content. I go by the name of Bitebam Hambani, aka Bubbly B. Guys, I'm a little bit down because today I woke up missing someone that was very close to my heart, and you know what, I decided, Horene, let me just do a story about him, like, because this guy, he was like a brother to me. We were so close, our relationship was so intact, and yeah, life happened. So today I'm going to tell you guys about how my family and I lived with a rapist. So I'm gonna call the guy Happiness because he was literally our happy place, especially mine. Like I will get into that. Happiness, I met him in 2014. I was doing grade 9 then. He came into our lives when I was still young. Like I was still in high school, confused. Like my life was just not going straight. You know, I was just enjoying life. He came, I think it was around March or April. It was around that time. My father was looking for, I don't want to say a gardener, because I feel like it sounds, you know, my father was looking for a person that will do our garden, right? So the lady that helps us at home referred us to Happiness. So apparently Happiness has a record of like doing wonders to people's gardens. So that's how we got a hold of him. Our lady referred us to him, and yeah, my dad spoke to Happiness, like he wanted to see what he'll be getting himself into, I guess. So fine, he got the job, he became a part of our family. Like Happiness, he was always happy. The reason I chose that name, it's because I've never seen him in his darkest days. Like I always saw him smiling. Like even when he had problems, he would smile. And that is something that I myself developed from him, because like we were so close. Even him and I, when we would walk on the street, people always thought that we were siblings because he was light in complexion, right? He was light in complexion. He was a colored, by the way. I'll get into that. I'll get into the reason of why I keep saying was, past tense. Yeah. He was a colored, so people thought that we siblings or something like that. And then we'd be like, no. But then I referred to him as my brother because our relationship was so close. Even when I wanted to go out, when I wanted to like do sleepovers, I would talk to him. Like I would talk to him, like, bruh, like please come out for me, you know. That time I was still young, like. So yeah, he would help me with my homework. Since he was a colored, like yo, I used to struggle with Afrikaans back in the day because I went to an African school and it was so so he was literally always there. Every time when I had homework, I would give it to him, and brah, like I would get like outstanding, like I would get outstanding marks. So Happiness, even my parents, they loved him because he was so full of life. He was accommodative. He was not only, we never saw him only as our gardener, let me put it like that. We never saw him only as our gardener. We saw him as our brother because he was always there. Whether we had a funeral at home, whether we had a wedding, whether we had any ceremony or whatever, he was always there. He made sure that our yard was always clean. Like that guy was always there. So if I were to describe Happiness' personality, Happiness was happy, guys. As like I've said before, he was a happy person. He was so bubbly, so full of life, so adventurous. Oh, by the way, he liked to hunt. Like he liked to hunt. He would tell me stories about him hunting all the time. So yeah, he would tell us stories like that. But then his personality was out there. He was outgoing, very accommodative. He was a people's person. He was funny. Like every time when you were around him, like you would always laugh. That's how happy he was, and he made us happy. That's why we took him as part of our family. So Happiness did not only do our garden, he also helped us with a lot of things, especially me, because we were like the closest, like we were so close. He would help me with my homework. Okay, my brother was never around because he lived with my grandmother. So he, like, that's why our relationship was so intact, because I was always with him most of the time. when I'm not with him, I was either with my friends, right? And then my sister was like, I don't know, I think she was 4 or 3, but she was still young. She was still young. So yeah, like he would help us with a lot of things. He would help me with my homework. Like I knew that every time when I got homework, especially an Afrikaans homework, I would give it to him without any hesitation. Plus he was a colored, he was good at it, and I got good grades. Like I got good grades. So apart from being our gardener and apart from doing our garden, he was supportive, you know, because I remember we had a funeral during that year later on. My great grandmother, I don't know, like you know how extended our families are. I think it was my great grandmother, something like that. She had passed away, and her funeral was in KZN. Like he was so accommodative. He asked my father if he could tag along. Yes, my dad agreed. We all got to KZN. Like he helped us with everything. He helped us with the cow, with the slaughtering of the cow, the sheep, everything. Like he was always there. He was like, we never really saw him as our gardener. We saw him as, especially me, I saw him as my brother, because when I wanted to do something, I would wait for him. Like my dad always gave him money every month end, right? So I would wait for him every month end, because like I'm a fan of bunny chows. I would be like, hey, you promised me a bunny chow, and then he would buy it for me. He knew that like every time when it's month end, he knew that he should always keep money aside for me. So Happiness, guys, Happiness liked to tell us stories about his life. He liked to tell us stories about how he grew up, and how him and his sister like grew up as orphans, and how his sister took care of him, and how he had to provide for his sister so that she can finish college. Like he used to tell us like everything. Like, but like one thing I enjoyed about his presence was that he realized that I still love, let me put it like that. He realized that I love these scary stories, like these dark stories about witches, Illuminati, and all that. So every time when he was around, he would tell me stories about all those things, and yeah. But then most of the time he would talk about going back to school, because I remember he used to complain. Sorry about that. Most of the time he would talk about going back to school, because I remember he used to talk about how he only had matric, and I would be like, you know what, just gather your funds, or maybe look for funding, or maybe ask mom and dad. I'm sure they won't mind helping you out. He wanted to be an engineer. I can't remember if he wanted to be a civil engineer or an electrical engineer, but I remember it was an engineer. He wanted to be an engineer. Like he was so smart. He was literally so smart. Like that guy was smart. He wasn't only good at doing the garden, he was also good at doing other stuff, whether it's mathematics, whether it's whatever. Like that guy was smart. That's why like I would give him my schoolwork every time when I had homework. Like I would give it to him, because I knew that I'm gonna get 100%. By the way, Happiness was, I think he was 15 years older than me. Like he was old, but he didn't look old, you know. But then you could tell that this person is old, right? He was old. He was like 15 years older than me. He liked to complain about his girlfriend. His girlfriend loved money, like yo. But then his girlfriend was his weakness. Like he loved his girlfriend. Like he loved her so much. Like he would always talk about her. Even when he had money, he would be like, oh, I should buy her something. Okay, when I want to. He also referred to me as Waniesu again. He was like, Waniesu, what do you think I should buy for her? Like, what do you think I should get her? I'd be like, I just buy her toiletries, groceries, food. You know, those are the things that we girls like, love. I mean, so he most of the time complained about his girlfriend loving money, because his girlfriend was very demanding, if I may put it like that. He always wanted money from him. Like, yo, I remember there were times I'd be like, why don't you dump her? Because it's clear enough that this girl only came for one thing in this relationship. Like, why don't you dump her? And then he'd be like, no. He would become so defensive of her. He'd be like, no, it's just a temporary thing. It's her friends that are influencing her. I know that that's not her. Like he believed in his girlfriend, he believed in their relationship, and he had hope that everything would work out. But unfortunately, Miguel, like I saw her the first time I met her when Happiness came with her to work because he wanted me to meet her. After she left, I was like, nope, this girl is not for you. She's definitely not for you. Because even when she was at our house, guys, like she would look around. Ooh, like I don't understand people who do that. Like, why would you look around at other people's places or houses? Like, why would you do that? Why can't you just sit still and focus on TV or whatever, on your phone or whatever? Why would you look around? Going, that person, this slay queen, let me put it like that. She's a slay queen. So I told Happiness that nope, this girl is not for you. She's just here for money. Like, she doesn't love you. So Happiness loved God, guys. Like, Happiness loved God. He would always talk about how God had been faithful to him. He'd always talk about how he looked up to God. Like, he had so much faith in God. Like, I really learned a lot from that guy. But yeah, he loved God. He loved going to church. He literally enjoyed being in the house of the Lord. And he literally, you know, sometimes he would talk about his girlfriend. He would talk about other things such as hunting, his friends, all of that, etc. But he would make sure that at the end of the day, there was something that he told us about God. He knew the Bible. Like, he knew the Bible. That guy knew the Bible. You know, I would sit there and listen to him and be like, wow, some people really know the Bible. Like, I thought I knew the Bible, but he was worse. Like, he knew it from Genesis to Revelations. He would tell you what's happening in those scriptures. Like, he was very good. I'd be like, oh, wow. So Happiness was so generous, guys. He was so generous. He was a giver. Every time when his sister would bake or would cook like a lot of food, let me put it like that, he would bring us like lunch boxes. Like, he was so giving. Like, that guy, like, I still don't understand, but then I'll get to that part. He was a giver, he was a helping hand, like, he was always there. So this one time, Happiness worked for us for like, I think it was for 2 years. Yeah, I think it was for 2 years or 1 year and 6 months. No, but it was for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. He worked for us for like 2 years, and while he is already a member of our family. So this one time, he asked me, it was around this time, it was around February. He asked me if whether do I need help with anything. I was like, anything like what? Mind you, my parents used to leave me with this guy. Like, this guy would babysit me and my sister. My parents would go to work, they would go to vacations, they would go to whatever, they would go to courses. Like, they would leave us with this guy for like a whole week. The whole week, I mean, they would leave us with this guy for like the whole week. So I'd be like, are you done with your schoolwork? Do you need help with anything? That day, ne? The last time I saw him, he asked me that. He was like, do you need help with anything? I was like, no. Do you need bunny chow? Do you want me to get you a bunny chow? Do you want me to buy a bunny chow? I'd be like, no, I'm cool. And then he'd be like, do you need me to help you with anything? Do you have any schoolwork you need to do? And then I'd be like, no, I'm good. Like, why are you asking me all these questions? He'd be like, no, I want to hang out with my friends, you know? Like, I want to go out with my friends. That's why I was asking you all these things, because I didn't want you to like struggle when I'm not around. Then I'd be like, oh, nah, I don't really have homework. And then, yeah, he left. Guys, Happiness committed suicide. I was shook. We all were. I mean, this person was happy, you know? He was happy. He never complained about anything besides his girlfriend. Like, he never had problems. Like, or maybe he bottled up things inside. But I was like, I don't understand. Why would he do that? So we asked his sister, like, how was his mood and like throughout the entire day? Because mind you, when he left me on a Friday, I remember, and he was like, do you need help with anything? Do you need help with school? Do you want me to buy you a bunny chow? He never said, I'll see you on Monday. He never said that, literally. Of which it's something that he used to say most of the time when ahana vaya, like when he left, he'd be like, I'll see you on Monday, I mean. So that day he was like, bye bye. Like he just kept it short. So his sister was like, his friends, Happiness friends, like they were drinking at this tavern, and Happiness bought like a lot of alcohol for all of them, I mean. And he was like complaining and saying that, Magent, this is the last time you guys are seeing me. So obviously when someone says that, and when that person is drunk, you're gonna think that it's the alcohol speaking, you know. You're not gonna take them into like mind, like you're not really gonna mind them, let me put it like that. You're not really gonna think that this person is serious or calling out for help, let me put it like that. Because his friends were like, this guy was like, no, this is the last time you see me, like it's the, and there's this guy, he used to like talk like him. I don't even know what happened to him. The last time I saw him was at Happiness's funeral, right? So he used to talk like him. He'd be like, Happiness was like, this is the last time you see me, you know? So like, let's just get drunk. And obviously his friends never took that into consideration. Like they never like thought that he was serious, you know? So apparently he went to the tech shop afterwards, later at night, because we got a call the following morning, yeah, at 10. We got a call the following morning at 10, which was on Saturday. That was the only time his sister found him dead in his room. So he went to the tuck shop, he bought like, what we call this, Retex hair. He bought Retex, like he drugged himself, he drank Retex, like he literally committed suicide. I was like, even Lino, I still don't understand, guys. I know it's been years since his death, but I still don't understand. Like, why would someone so happy kill themselves? Like I can't even connect the dots, because there's nothing to connect, because this guy never had problems. He was happy. Or maybe he had his inner demons that he was fighting with that he never told us about. But none of this makes sense, you know. None of this makes sense. Obviously, you know, after a person dies, they take them to the mortuary, and the postmortem runs the test and all of that. And yeah, postmortem found that the results came back, and the results were like, yes, he committed suicide, he drank poison, and then like he just died in his room. So obviously his sister found him the next morning, because like Happiness is that person that always woke up early. So his sister was like, that day everything was just so odd. I called out for him, he never responded. I was like, maybe he's bathing, maybe he passed out because he was drunk. And then something in her told her to go look for him in his room. Like, she described the whole scene. She was like, he had blood coming out of his nose, and his mouth was foaming. Like, that's when she realized that something was wrong. So guys, here's the climax, man. So we went to his funeral. Obviously, we buried him the volgende week. Yeah. So we went to his funeral, and yeah, let me tell you, when we got there, like, we literally found out everything about the late Happiness. I didn't want to say the late Happiness in the beginning of the video, because like I didn't want to spoil it, you know. Oh, by the way, like, I got permission from his sister to like shoot this video, because I didn't want her to find it offensive, you know, because yeah, we still communicate, me and Happiness's sister. So I was like, can I shoot a video about Happiness, because like I've been missing him lately. So we went to Happiness's funeral. Like, his whole family was there. Like, wow. You know, guys, I thought I was light in complexion. Like, there are people that are worse, like, that are more lighter than me. Like, yo. Like, I remember the day I was like, yo, your family, yeah, I was so young. Like, I thought I was light in complexion. Like, yo, there are people that are worse, guys, like you. So far, when we got there, his grandmother was around, his uncle, his other siblings, wow, his other siblings from his father's side. Like, everybody was there, his friends, his girlfriend, etc., right? So fine, when it was time for us to eat, we all sat under the tent. Yes, we all sat under the tent, and yeah, like, we like remembered him. We talked about how generous he was, how happy he was. Like we all just couldn't figure out why this guy would commit suicide, like why he would kill himself. So guys, here's the climax. Mind you, I think Happiness used to tell us about his life, but he never really told us everything, right? Here's why. So when we got to the funeral, his sister and his grandmother and uncle were like, this guy, his grandmother started the topic. She was talking to my mother, by the way. Did you know that? She was like, did you know that Happiness was a rapist? We're like, what? Which Happiness? Our Happiness. Now I'm sitting there, I'm like, like I'm trying not to eavesdrop, but at the same time I'm eavesdropping, like, you know how kids are, I mean. So his grandmother was like, did you know that Happiness was a rapist and that he spent 10 years in jail, something like that? She said 10 years or 5 years, something like that, I think. Apparently Happiness was a rapist, and apparently he murdered 2 people. Like, guys, it was also confusing. Guys, mind you, my parents used to leave me with this guy. Like, they used to leave us alone. Like, this guy would stay at home and look after us. So we were also shook that, wow, like I don't even have words, because I remember how shook we all were, because my parents used to leave us with Happiness, right? It was me and my sister most of the time, because remember I told you that my brother was most of the time at my grandmother's house. So we were like, what? This person, my dad was like, this person used to stay to look after my daughters. This person, like, he was always around Bitepo. Did he do anything? I was like, no, Happiness would never do that. So apparently Happiness had his history that he never wanted us to find out. So yeah, we found out that he was a rapist. He got arrested several times for raping girls and for murdering 2 people. So moral of the story is, guys, always be nice. Like, Happiness' death hit me so hard. Like, it hit me so hard that it made me realize that you should always be kind and nice to people, because you don't know what they're going through, right? Because some people, like, they know how to put on a smile. They know how to put on a smile on their faces and like pretend as if everything is normal, yet they'd be going through hell. That's what Happiness taught me. Like, that's what he taught me. So moral of the story is always be kind, always be nice. Sorry, because you don't know what that person is going through. Like, some people don't like talking about their problems. So moral of the story is always be nice to people, always be willing to help where you can, like, but always be nice. Like, don't always be hard or harsh on people, because already some people are battling their own demons, like they're fighting their own demons, and like yo game over, like wabaketel. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see y'all in my next video. Mwah.